When you think about it, what really separates beginners from advanced artists isn't just mastering blending or brush techniques. It's understanding contrast, and not just color contrast. Today, I'll walk you through the full contrast technique. It's a simple way to add depth, balance, and life to any watercolor painting. Hi, my name is Françoise. Welcome back to my channel, where I teach how to paint with watercolor and watercolor pencils in a loose but realistic style that makes paintings pop. Today, I'll be painting this landscape reference and walking you through several ways to use contrast intentionally so your paintings look more natural, dynamic, and professional. So, what's contrast anyways? According to the Collins Dictionary, a contrast is a great difference between two or more things which is clear when you compare them. And that's why in art, it applies to way more than just colors. Because color contrast is probably what most people think about first. Things like warm versus cool colors, complementary colors, saturated versus muted colors, etc. In this painting, I've picked some vivid colors, Cinereous Blue, Phthalo Green Light, and Quinacridone Sienna, which all contrast with something dark and muted like sepia. I love this combo, bright colors versus dull ones, because in the loose, realistic style, fresh and bright colors evoke that watercolor feeling. Add just a bit of intentional mud through color mixing and a dull, dark, or complementary color, and you'll keep the freshness without ever losing the natural look of a real landscape. Movement contrast is achieved with a paintbrush, and we could think of it as dynamic versus clean and straight strokes. For example, I use movement to shape the clouds. Here, a calm, cloudy sky with some curvy strokes and tapping motions combined. Or suggest a still body of water with straight and clean strokes. All this is subtle, but it gives energy to the scene. Even reflections in the water feel more alive thanks to the power of strokes and how we combine them. Space contrast is all about light versus dark tones, using colors, light and bright versus dark, but also what are the paint ratios to create a wide range of values. I start with watery blues for the sky and water. Then I gradually deepen them by adding more pigment, which makes my mixes less watery, more creamy. And whenever I can, I try and preserve white in the paper because there's nothing like it to make a watercolor painting glow. Another trick is to darken the top of the sky a bit and the bottom of the land or water while keeping everything around the horizon line on the lighter side. This instantly builds depth. Sepia helps here. When layered over blues, it makes them feel deeper and works towards color harmony at the same time, since I only have 4 colors here, and I like to make sure they end up all over the painting in subtle ways achieved through layering or color mixing. One more thing with space contrast. Did you notice how the dot gets smaller in the distance? That's perspective. And perspective adds a sense of space contrast there too. With shape contrast, think organic versus geometric, simple versus complex shapes. This really shows in how I paint mountains. If everything looks the same, it will feel flat and unnatural. So I vary the shapes with mountains that aren't perfectly symmetrical or repeated. If shaping random looking mountains is hard for you, try wobbling your brush a little, like you're being a bit shaky on purpose. That slight chaos in your outlines will create a far more natural result without much effort on your part. Size contrast is another easy win. Think big versus small. Here again, the mountains are a good example of that. I vary the size and height to create size contrast. I also often apply this to things like trees and clouds, birds, even in a portrait. Eyelashes that aren't all the same size will look better. This truly applies to everything, all subjects, all mediums. This intentional irregularity makes things look organic, and I think that might be the hardest skill to master once you're past beginner stages, but it's well worth it. At first, you might have to think it through before painting, but with practice, it will become habit and just easy to do. Now, edge contrast is a big one in watercolor painting in particular, and I'm talking about sharp versus soft edges. Edges are your secret weapon to balance realism and looseness, and that's why it's so important. A clean and damp paintbrush helps soften edges just enough, as long as the paint is still wet, and that's how I blur some parts in the mountains so they quickly become less stiff. Plus, notice how other contrast types I've mentioned before keep happening here. Can you see how the furthest mountains start lighter and cooler? As I paint the closer ones, they get warmer, richer, and darker, just bolder. It's contrast again, in value and color. I teach these techniques in my courses and how to paint loose but realistic watercolors. So if you want to learn, I'll add a link in the description below. Or if you just want to practice this painting here, it's available in real time on my Patreon, along with over 120 tutorials. Line contrast could be defined as thick versus thin lines, broken versus continuous lines, and it matters more than we think. In the mountains, I used various lines to avoid stiffness and shape the flanks. But the best place to see this is on the dock. The dock is closest to us, so it has the most visible detail. I don't just draw identical planks. This would be a common beginner mistake that makes a painting look cartoonish. Instead, I vary the width, the length, and even the edge of each line to keep them loose but believable. This is what some label as suggesting. I'm suggesting planks without outlining them super clearly. Texture and detail contrast usually come last in a painting after the base was already established. And there are many ways to achieve it. Here I start by lifting paint to suggest the planks naturally. It's color contrast and my base for the details to come. The eye will naturally focus more on what's closer, so I emphasize the dock's bottom part with more detail. I use the dry brush technique to suggest the wood's texture, and then I add splatters, more concentrated at the bottom and fading upward, to mimic grit and weathering in the wood. Just like with shapes and lines, variation here keeps things interesting and it makes the scene feel more alive. From your background wash to your foreground details, each layer is a chance to play with a different kind of contrast. So next time, ask yourself at every stage of the painting, what kind of contrast can I add here? That is a great way to improve with watercolors that feel more balanced, beautiful, and full of life. Let me know in the comments what type of contrast surprised you most or which one you use. And if you enjoyed this, I recommend this video next to keep leveling up your skills. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.